Hi guys, Jordan from P&P Campers. Just going to be starting your video handover on your Autotrail. So we start under the bonnet. So the left hand side here we've got a nice big washer fluid reservoir. Brake fluid reservoir next door to that, attached to the servo. Your air filter sits in this big box down here. Engine oil gets topped up through this cap here. It's a 5-cylinder diesel engine. They sound really nice and they're really powerful. Lovely to drive as well. Dipstick for your engine oil is just there at the front. Your coolant overflow reservoir is here, so that's where you top up your water. And then your engine battery is this big battery on the right hand side. So you know, everything's really easy to get to. Let's make sure there's nothing else I need to show you. No, so yeah, like I said, 5-cylinder. Passenger side, the bonnet release is under here, under the passenger footwell. You've got the kind of air assisted seats in these, like you're driving a lorry. Obviously a lot smaller than a lorry, but really comfortable seats to drive around in. And like I said, I've actually driven this particular vehicle and it is really nice. So yeah. So the fuel cap, diesel filler cap is down here. And that's not got a lock on it because if you've got the door shut and it's locked, you won't be able to open this anyway. So you have to have the door open to then open it up. So it has kind of got a lock in its own way. External 240-volt socket. And then you've got your massive bank of 4 leisure batteries that are all in line. Obviously having the big solar panel on the roof helps as well because it keeps them all topped up all the time. But yeah, didn't have any problems with it when I was doing the hab check. You know, they're all topped up and they're all keeping their charge well. Just popping their little covers down. So yeah, that's where they are. Over here on the right hand side you've got your C-Tech charger, so that's the charger that makes the charges the battery up when you've got your hookup in. And then next to that you've got your RCD and MCBs. So the RCD is on the left hand side and the 3 MCBs are on the right. And that's basically what would trip if you put a dodgy plug into one of the sockets. Yeah, you've also got these little locks for the inside of the door as well. So they basically lock over like that. So yeah. Okay, so they've got the habitation door, which has got these kind of magnetic strips to hold them in. Now the way to use this little lock is to just basically push it in. So you push the door up to it and then just push this in like that, and that's held in really tight. Push it in again and twist it and it comes out. So just like that, nice and easy. And you can also lock the caravan door by turning it to the left when it's actually closed up. External gas point, so that's your barbecue point. Obviously it's all been pressure tested, so there's no leaks anywhere. Fresh water drain is down here on the near side, so that's your little cap up there. I did also fit this cap here as well because these ones are a bit worn out, the original ones. So you've got that nice stronger metal cap strap back there. Basically it's in the closed position now, like it says on the top, and you just turn it to empty your fresh water out. You've got a SOG unit on the toilet, so when you go to empty it out you do need to take this out. So if I just take that out there, then you can take the entire toilet out. Got a little yellow button down the back there which you need to hold when you empty this out. It's basically an air pressure release, and then pop that back away all the way in, and then pop your SOG back in there when you're ready. So this is your flush fluid, which by the way there's a level indicator there, and someone's put this little line up here. That's correct, that's about where it needs to be, but where it is now is totally fine. I did drain that out and redo it because it was all a bit dirty before. So that's where you put your flush, your pink fluid in, and obviously the actual toilet cassette itself is where you put your blue fluid in. So if I put that back in there now, all the way, and then that will close up, and then you pop your key in there, turn it 90 degrees, That's it locked up. We've got a couple of lockers at the back. Not really much to show in them, if I'm honest. Everything else is around the other, on the sides. So here is quite an important locker. You've got all kinds of extras in here that the previous owners kindly left. But on the right hand side, you've got the water pump, which is a nice big Aqua 8 water pump, so they do send around quite a lot of pressure. Your boiler is just there, and the boiler drain is this one here, right? So it's in the horizontal position at the moment, which means it is closed, so it won't let any water out. But if you want to drain that out, you just need to lift it up so it's vertical, and then all the water from the boiler will drain out onto the floor. Freshwater inlet, where it says Wasser, just there, and then push in and round to the right, and then turn the key in it, which is the small little silver key, which I think someone's written H2O on. So that's where you fill up your fresh water. Your boiler is here, the boiler vent, sorry. So I've got it on hot water at the moment on gas, and I can feel hot air coming through the top of this vent. So that's one way of double checking that it's definitely working. Your wastewater is down here as well, and it's just by this cap here. So you basically turn it flat to let the water out, close it up like that. We've got a external aerial point here, max view style. Your hookup is here, so if you're at home or at your campsite, that's where you pop your hookup cable into in order to use all your plug sockets and things like that, everything on 240. Make sure that's closed up. So now you've got the fridge vents. So again, I've got that lit on gas at the moment, and I can feel the hot air coming out through this vent. And like I said, it's the same kind of thing as the boiler. I can make sure that it's definitely lit up by doing that, by feeling the hot air. You don't have to worry about the bottom vent, that's just basically where the burner is and all that, so you don't need to get to there. When I was doing the hab check, all the pipes are a bit old, so I've had to replace them all. Well, all the ones that are this colour have all been replaced. So you've got a couple of refillable bottles. So basically, if you were to, I'll show you here, you got this, which is like a bayonet style fitting. So that's where you can refill your LPG tank, and to actually turn them on and off, it's a bit fiddly to get your hands in there, but anti-clockwise around to the left is on, and clockwise around to the right is off. If you remember to go all the way on when you do that, you'd only be able to go one way when you go to turn it off, so you can't get too confused. And obviously the same on the other side as well. It might be easier to put your left hand in there like that to get to that one, but it's exactly the same as the other bottle. And these two regulators are new as well. So in the cab, we've got obviously automatic gearbox. So I'll just close this door up. Yeah, so automatic. So we're in neutral at the moment, which is top right. That doesn't mean that the handbrake is on. It just means that you're in neutral, you're not in a gear. Go straight down is reverse. So back into the middle again. Over to the left is automatic, as long as you've got a little A in the middle there where it says N at the moment, but the ignition's off, that's why it's not changing. But as long as you've got a little A over there and it says A in the middle, then it means you're in automatic. And you can also change gear like that if you want to, but it's easy just to leave it in A, automatic. So the handbrake in this vehicle is by these two buttons here. So to set it, you push and hold one of the buttons. Can't remember off the top of my head which one is which, but you'll get the P handbrake sign go off, and then this little light down here will also go off, and then obviously whichever one that you didn't press is the one to hold it on, and you just basically push and hold it until you get the little P handbrake sign come up on a dash again. All right, you got electric adjusting mirrors, so you got left and right, and then this little sort of joystick to move it around, and then back in the middle there's a little rocker switch. Electric windows. So you got your fan setting speed there, temperature on the right hand side, and just basically other little bits and pieces. Hazard light to here in the middle. Lights and indicators are on the left hand side. and washers and washer fluid on the right hand side. Fog lamp on the right, and your headlight adjuster is there. You've also got aftermarket cruise control, which if I'm honest I haven't personally tried, but it's there if you want to give it a go. Otherwise they're just as nice, they're so nice to drive, so you know, may not even need to use that, but it's there. So if we go into the back now, I'll show you a few bits what we've got going on here. So straight away you notice we've got these little lights around the top. They're all over the place. Now they work by this little blue button over here. It's actually like a little push on and off button. All right, so that's how you turn those ones on. Even the one up here above the unit there, it's got its own button, which when it's off you can see it, you can see exactly where it is, so it's easy to spot. So for the minute I'll turn those off. Okay, so nearly every light around the van, if I'm honest, has got its own switch, but there are a couple of buttons here and there. You got this button up here, which is your warning light. Yeah, so this big unit here is your solar controller. So that's the solar panel sending its power down, coming into here, and then charging up the batteries down below. Aerial or satellite adjuster here. So the control panel is really easy. As long as you've got this button on here, that means that your batteries are sort of powering things in the back. Voltage, so how many volts in the battery? 12.6. How many amps are it drawing? 1.4. Internal temperature, 26 degrees. It is hot today. And external, it just says hot. Water level sensor, 0.2, so that's basically nothing. That's why it's making that noise. And then your main pump on and off switch is there. All right, the other two are just for setting the timer. The clock, you know, it's not, I wouldn't really worry about that if I was you, but you can do, click through it and see if you can work it out. You have got this here as well, which is basically just another meter telling you your voltages. So it's saying that the sun on the solar panel, there's power going into the batteries, and the battery's got 12.5 volts. Obviously, if you had a hookup plugged in right now, it'd be up towards 14 volts. So if you can hook it up as much as you can, because you have got quite a few batteries, and I know that, you know, that'll make it last a lot longer, but you do also need to give them a bit more charge, you know. So if you can leave it on hookup as much as you can, then that'd be great. But anyway, so this up here, ultra heat, that is your space heater down here, but this dial up here is just for using it on the hookup. All right, so as long as you've got where are we, where's the button for that? As long as you've got this button in here on which says ultra heat, when you plug your hookup cable in, you'll then be able to use this up here. And I've written on the sheet, on the hab sheet, how many amps each wattage pulls. But all you need to do is select your wattage, 500,000 or 2,000, select your temperature, and then just click on or off. And that'll work. As long as you've got a hookup plugged in, that'll work. So you can leave that switch on at all times because it won't do anything until you choose what it's doing up there. You've got a little bank of fuses up here, a light in here which turns off when you close the door, and yeah, a few other bits for your status. Aerial booster, satellite booster is there. So yeah, that's that one. Your fridge is a 3-way fridge, so it can work on the leisure battery, hookup, or gas. At the moment I've got it lit on gas, and you know that because I've got this button on, and this little button here is aiming away from the triangle, and also you can see a little flame down the little hole there, if you can see it, a little blue flame. And obviously, like I said, you can go around the back and feel it on the vent, but you know it's lit like that. If I had a hookup cable plugged in, if I click that one on, you get a light coming on there, and the fridge would start to cool down via the hookup. And if the engine was running, this little red lever, this little red rocker switch would glow up red, and then the engine would be charged, would be cooling down the fridge. Now the way that these work is you have to get it cold either via the gas or the hookup first, so either the night before or at least a good few hours before you go away, and then only use the 12 volt for when you're driving, because it won't get the fridge cold on its own. It only keeps temperature, so you need to get it cold first either via the hookup or the gas, and then use this one afterwards when you're driving. So I'll just show you how to light it up on gas. So if I turn it off now, the igniter is starting to click because it's all gone out. So I can switch that off. So where it is at the moment is totally off. Now if I turn the igniter on, then push and hold this button, watch the igniter stopped going. So that means it's lit up. And if I let go of this slowly, let it out, the igniter still isn't clicking, and if you looked inside there, you'd see a little blue flame. So switch it off, igniter's clicking, igniter off. You got this little travel catch as well, so you push that down, and then to open it up, push on your little green tab, like that. The oven and the 3 hob rings at the top, really easy to use. You've got your igniter over here, so that's basically how you use your ignition. You've got a hot ring over here, so that's when you've got your hookup in. And then the rest of them, they've all got their own little diagrams on them. They are a bit faded, but so bottom left, where are we? Oven, grill, bottom right, and top right. All right, so that's how you use that. Like I said, that will only work when your hookup's plugged in. And yeah, the rest of it's all been checked. All works as it should. You've got your gas isolators down here. So if you had a problem with any individual appliances, you can switch them off from there. The 240 volt switch for your ultra heat, so the ultra store, sorry. So for your boiler is down here. So if you had your hookup plugged in and you want to heat the water up via the hookup cable, you can do so by pressing that button down. And that will just literally, I've written on the hab sheet how many amps that draws as well, so you can work that out and make sure you're not drawing too many. The isolator switch for the hot ring here is this one, so you can turn that off until you want to use it if you like. So I've tested that your RCD works, obviously, as part of the hab check, so that trips down in that cupboard outside like I showed you. The ultra store here that's on at the moment, that's your boiler. Now in the middle you've got 30 to 70, that's the temperature of the water, and then up here you've just literally got on and off. All right, it's as simple as that. So that's your hot water on gas. So if I turn that off, light goes off. And if I wanted to light that up again, just this. Give it a second and it will light up. There you go, that's just lit there and then. And then in about 5-10 minutes I'll have hot water. So turn that off again for now. Up here you got a few bits and pieces, like 12 volt and a couple of 240 volt sockets. Or well, one 240 volt socket. Your actual space heater itself is really easy to use. On the left hand side here you've got a fan, so that's the fan that pumps the hot air around to all of your little vents around the bottom, like those ones there. And you got to make sure that they're a bit open as well, like that. This one's constantly, oh no it's not, that one's got a little lever as well. So that's your fan. The A means automatic, and I wouldn't worry about that. I just choose it yourself. Just go left and go and choose 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. The A button would just choose it for you, but it's unnecessary, I think, personally. I would just choose, you know, so you could choose your own setting. To light it up, literally push down and around to one of the first numbers and you'll see it light up. That's a pilot flame, and then let up and turn around and then you'll see it light up properly on the main flame, just like a boiler. And that's it. So when you leave that to heat up, then you've got your fan going, then you've got your hot air pumping around all of the vents around the van, and then when you're done with it, all the way back round to the 0, make sure there's no flame down there, and that's it. I would always advise, if you're going to use this for a little while, to leave the fan on for 5 minutes or so after you've used it, so that all the hot air that is there doesn't rush out the front. It just slowly pumps around through the vents. It's always been the way I do it, just because it does get really, really hot. You also should never ever put clothes on here, you know, like a radiator at home. It's not like a radiator, because a radiator's just got water inside it. This has got fire, so just do not put any clothes on here to try and dry them off. So if we carry on down the back now, your sink. Oh, actually, I'll just show you. The first thing you want to do when you come into the van, when you first come in and want to light your boiler up and get the water hot and all that kind of stuff, is you want to come up here and turn your left-hand button on here. So that's your main on and off, and your pump. And then just come to your tap here, pull the hot tap, let the pump start up, and then just leave it there for a sec, go through to your cold. Just make sure there's not loads of air coming out through the tap. So I'm happy with that. I can see that there's no air in the system, and now I could go over there and start lighting up the boiler and things like that. So just in case you've emptied the boiler out, or it's emptied out for some reason, you need to make sure that there's definitely water in the boiler before you try and light it up. So that's the same. You can, if you want to, if you've not used the van for a little while, like what we do with the hab checks, is we go through and pull the water on all of the taps, because sometimes if you don't use the van for a little while, it does build up air pockets around. So just go through all of the taps and make sure that they're all okay and they've all got no air in them, and then your boiler is definitely full. You've got a few lights in here that are by these switches over here. You've got two up there at the top, and then you've got a couple behind you as well. But you have also got the one that's on up here. I'll switch that off. So your toilet in here is nice and easy to use. You've got this which actually opens the flap up, or you can push the button down to get your flush fluid, open that up, let it out, and that's it. So really easy to use. Push the button, close it up. All right, so that's how your toilet works. You have also obviously got your shower behind here as well, which I did have to change the little O-ring in because it's a bit leaky. But yeah, so it all works as it should. This little thing holds this as well whilst you're driving, because it can be pretty noisy otherwise. Okay, what else have we got? I don't know what else we got. Yeah, so the main points really is to get the fridge cold via the hookup or the gas first, and then use your 12 volt for when you're driving. Don't put any clothes on your space heater. I think that's about it. I mean, you've got your main skylight up here, which I've got open at the moment because it's really hot. So if you want to close it down, you just turn it all the way around to the right like that, and don't stop turning it as soon as it touches the bottom like that. All right, because some people think that that's totally locked up, but if I now touch this, it's still got loads of space. So you need to keep going until you can't go any further, like that, and then pop that in there. So now there's no wiggle room at all. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the rest of it is just kind of making it your own and going through and choosing which lights you do and you don't want on. You got a little isolator here for your fridge as well, so that's the fridge on the 240, but you can leave that on at all times because that'll only come on if you turn it on. Yeah, so I think that's about it. So if you think I've missed anything out, then obviously let us know, but otherwise we look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.